guilt and shame, or I should be saying guilt versus shame. I think we mix it up a little bit, and it's been a popular topic of questions recently, so let's talk about it. Roll it. Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos Rentas. This is mentorsapproach.com. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit a like if you like what you see, and of course, hit a subscribe button so you don't miss future videos for ideas to get your mind moving in the right direction. In this video, I want to start off a quick series on guilt, shame, and how we confuse them. This first video is really just an introduction to the rest of the videos, so I really want to dive into some specifics of them, and then of course give some examples of some YouTube question and answer responses that came in and really solidify the point. When we look at guilt and then we look at shame, these interchangeable, or very often used as interchangeable words, come up, and all of a sudden we have different mindsets we're working with, and the progression or growth to get out of any given situation, well, takes a lot longer because we're not really seeing the bigger picture. When we have guilt pop up versus that shame, well, guilt is something that comes from within, where we've actually been in a situation where we've caused, or something that we may have caused but from the external sense, and something that's occurred, but we're involved, and this guilt takes up and we feel it inside. Now, it's kind of like when your mom makes you feel guilty for doing something based on stupidity, ignorance, or you knew what you were doing and you're stupid for it. That's my examples for the usual talks I have with my mother when a guilt trip pops up. Shame, however, is a little bit different. Shame is that emotion we feel when we establish that level of whatever's occurred to that emotion or that thought process of how we feel about ourselves. It's that emotion where we go, where's my worthiness? Where am I sitting at? What's occurring? And that failure talk comes in. I suck mentality, I'm stupid mentality, etc., etc., etc. When I talk to people about guilt, they often interchange the two, or they do a little bit of both, but they're not really understanding that the guilt trip versus the shame emotion, that momentary or prolonged level of continual moments, well, those two things need to be separated. When you are feeling like you're being guilt tripped for something by somebody else, we have to understand where's that coming from, why it's there, and where does shame play a role in it. Because at the end of the day, you're actually bringing up other emotions that shouldn't really be in that logical sphere of what the guilt is all about. Yet it happens all the time, and hey, I deal with it all the time too. I'm not the first, I'm not the last. I'm aware of that, and I know you won't be the first and not the last. I'm pretty sure as long as you have people in your life, the guilt trips will come from that external source. And as long as you do things and make decisions, well, guilt that you have on yourself will always happen. It's simple as that. And the reality is that the only thing we can do is grow towards finding a way to make better decisions, or putting ourselves into situations where we can make better decisions, such that we are not causing ourselves to hold a lot of guilt, regrets, and all those other clusters of emotions that we kind of don't like and we want to push away. Diving into what this all means in the next few videos, I'm going to talk a little bit about the guilt types and what we often see with people, and of course that shame view of how people see shame, how people feel shame, and how do we deal with this whole mess of emotions when they come up, because at the end of the day, guilt can be a good thing, and usually in my experience and the experience I talk with people, it's a bad thing, but it can be a good thing, and it's all in the mindset of how we see it. Shame can be a humbling experience, and it can be a good thing, but again, depending on how we see it in our mindset, we create shame into this negative entity that exists in our realm of this dark cloud when we walk, and life just it's not that fun anymore. Take some time, leave a comment below. Let me know the type of things you have gone through in the past where maybe you've had a realization on this, or maybe you've had some thoughts about it and you're like, you know what? Hey, this happened, this is how it turned out, and this is what I wish I would have done. Who knows, that comment, somebody might read it and might help change a life.
Snow again.